What if your crypto savings vanished overnight? That's what happened when CoinDCX, one of India's top crypto exchanges, got hacked. Over $3 million in tokens gone. No warning. No explanation. CoinDCX had 15 million users and was backed by global investors. It claimed military-grade security, but still got breached in July 2025. Users noticed suspicious withdrawals. Then the app froze. Withdrawals disabled. CoinDCX said nothing. Silence caused mass panic. Reddit, Telegram exploded with questions. Blockchain experts found the breach came through a third-party integration. CoinDCX didn't name the vendor, didn't issue a clear public statement. This wasn't a basic scam, it was a systemic failure. What does this mean for the safety of crypto in India? In Part 2, we reveal how the hackers broke in and what CoinDCX did wrong. In Part 1, we expose the shocking silence of CoinDCX after millions in crypto vanished. But the big question remains, how did hackers actually break in? How did they bypass a system that claimed military-grade security? Let's break it down. Cybersecurity analysts believe the hack originated through a third-party service, integrated into CoinDCX. This could be anything from a payment gateway, a KYC provider, or a liquidity management system. One key suspect is an API, an application programming interface, which acts like a bridge between internal systems and the outside world. This API was either poorly secured or outdated, giving hackers an invisible key to the vault. Once inside, they didn't target user wallets directly. Instead, they exploited the system to initiate silent withdrawals. Funds began flowing from CoinDCX's hot wallets to external addresses under hacker control, all while appearing like routine activity. Blockchain watchers flagged the unusual movements, large amounts of ETH, MATIC, USDT, and other tokens being siphoned in small, calculated batches. CoinDCX tried to downplay the situation, calling it a scheduled update. But within hours, users lost access. The app started crashing. Withdrawals were suspended without notice. There were no emails, no warnings. As panic spread, Reddit threads exploded with speculation. Telegram groups were flooded with screenshots and chain data. People were screaming for answers. But CoinDCX remained silent for nearly 24 hours. In that critical window, hackers had already drained over $3.1 million. Some analysts believe the real figure could be much higher, possibly hidden across dozens of wallets. The stolen tokens didn't just sit idle. They were split, moved across wallets, and passed through privacy tools like Tornado Cash to wash the trail. This makes tracing the funds incredibly difficult. Even worse, CoinDCX lacked real-time fraud monitoring. There was no system in place to flag suspicious activity at scale. Or, if there was, it clearly failed. This wasn't just a hack, it was a systemic collapse. A platform trusted by over 15 million users didn't have the basic infrastructure to defend against a modern breach. And now, public trust is shattered. If a company backed by global giants like Coinbase can fall like this, what does that say about the future of crypto in India? In Part 3, we'll uncover how the stolen money is being laundered across global exchanges, and how it may soon affect platforms outside India, including in the US. In Part 2, we exposed how hackers used a vulnerable API to silently drain millions from CoinDCX wallets. Now in Part 3, we follow the money. Where did the stolen crypto go? And how is it being laundered across global platforms, including those in the US? Right after the breach, on-chain analysts noticed that the stolen tokens didn't stay in one place. They were quickly split into dozens of smaller transactions and moved through multiple wallets. This tactic, called peel chaining, makes it harder to track large movements by dividing the loot into tiny slices. But the real twist came when the hackers began using advanced laundering tools. One of the most notorious was Tornado Cash, a decentralized mixer that jumbles transactions, hides wallet origins, and breaks the traceable link between sender and receiver. Using this, hackers made their crypto trail virtually untraceable. In the days after the hack, security firms detected several transfers to cross-chain bridges. This allowed the attackers to move the funds across blockchains, from Ethereum to Binance Smart Chain to even obscure altcoin networks. Each jump diluted the trace even more. Some of the assets even landed in US-based decentralized exchanges, including Uniswap and 1inch. where they were converted into stablecoins like USDC and DAI. At that point, it became almost impossible to prove that those funds came from the CoinDCX hack. This wasn't random. It was highly coordinated, technical, and fast. Experts now believe the hack may have involved an international group with experience in crypto laundering and operational security. This raises a dangerous reality. No country is isolated in a crypto crime. An Indian exchange gets hacked, and funds show up on American platforms. It's all connected. And here's where it gets scarier. Despite millions being stolen, no major regulatory body stepped in. The Reserve Bank of India stayed silent. There was no investigation announcement from Indian cybercrime units. And global regulators? Also silent. This kind of cross-border movement without oversight proves how unprepared the world still is for global crypto crime. CoinDCX has refused to share detailed wallet data. They've only issued a vague statement promising to enhance systems and cooperate with authorities. But users want more than promises. They want refunds, transparency, and accountability. As of now, the stolen crypto is likely already cashed out through multiple exchanges or sitting idle in anonymous cold wallets. And CoinDCX users may never see their funds again. In Part 4, we break down the response from the crypto community, how top influencers, analysts, and investors are reacting. Is this the final nail in the coffin for Indian crypto platforms? Or is there still hope for recovery? In Part 3, we exposed how hackers laundered the stolen funds using mixers, cross-chain bridges, and US-based DEXs. Now in Part 4, let's shift focus to the reaction. How did the crypto community respond? What did experts, influencers, and investors say after the CoinDCX hack came to light? The reaction was immediate and brutal. Top Indian crypto influencers like Adifir Singh and Kashif Raza openly criticized CoinDCX on social media. They called out the platform's silence, lack of transparency, and failure to protect users. Even industry veterans who once supported the exchange began distancing themselves. Crypto Twitter erupted with hashtags like hashtag CoinDCXScam and hashtag CryptoNotSafe. Users shared screenshots of frozen withdrawals, unanswered support tickets, and vanishing balances. Meme pages roasted the exchange, but underneath the humor was real fear. If CoinDCX can collapse, who's next? Several analysts compared this breach to the infamous 2014 metric tons GOX hack, where over $450 million in Bitcoin was lost. The parallels are clear. A trusted platform, a sudden breach, zero communication, and millions gone. Investors weren't silent either. Some early-stage backers of CoinDCX, including foreign venture funds, began quietly scrubbing the exchange from their public portfolios. Insiders report that legal teams from at least 2 investment firms have requested internal audits. Meanwhile, rival exchanges like WazirX, CoinSwitch, and even Binance India released statements assuring users about their own security protocols. Some offered zero-fee transfers for users wanting to move assets out of CoinDCX, a subtle jab, but effective in grabbing attention. One major issue that surfaced was India's lack of regulatory clarity. There's still no strict framework governing crypto exchange operations, consumer protection, or breach liability. So when hacks like this happen, there's no clear path for justice or compensation. This vacuum of regulation allowed CoinDCX to delay response and dodge responsibility, at least for now. International crypto voices also chimed in. American security researcher Zach XBT tweeted about the breach and its laundering patterns. Even YouTubers with global reach, like Coin Bureau and BitBoy Crypto, discussed it briefly, bringing global awareness to an Indian crisis. The trust damage, however, was already done. Within a week, daily trading volume on CoinDCX reportedly dropped by over 60%. App Store reviews tanked. Thousands of users deleted the app or moved funds to private wallets. In Part 5, we'll explore what CoinDCX is doing now. Is the company trying to recover its image, or just buying time while users suffer? And most importantly, what can you learn from this to protect your own crypto? In Part 4, we saw how the crypto community, influencers, and investors reacted with outrage after the CoinDCX hack. Now in Part 5, let's look at what CoinDCX has done since the breach, and more importantly, What you can do to protect yourself from the next crypto disaster. First, CoinDCX finally broke its silence, but barely. In a short blog post released days after the hack, the company acknowledged unauthorized activity, affecting a small number of wallets. They claimed that core systems remain intact and that they were working with cybersecurity partners to investigate. But there were no specifics, no exact timeline, no transaction IDs, no mention of how much was actually stolen, no commitment to compensate users. For many, it felt like damage control, not accountability. The company also said user funds are safe in segregated cold storage, and that only operational wallets were affected. But users who had already lost access to their balances weren't buying it. CoinDCX re-enabled app access gradually, but withdrawals remained restricted for several users. Customer support was overwhelmed. Thousands of support tickets went unanswered. Some users even reported receiving copy-paste replies *** with no actual resolution. Internally, leaked messages suggest the CoinDCX team was instructed to avoid public interactions and to wait for legal clearance before saying anything detailed. This shows the company may be more focused on protecting itself legally than regaining user trust. So what does this mean for you, the user? First, let's be clear. Your crypto is only as safe as the platform you trust. CoinDCX isn't the first exchange to get hacked, and it won't be the last. If you're holding funds on centralized exchanges, you're exposed to platform risk. Even with 2FA and strong passwords, you're vulnerable to backend failures like this one. Here's how to protect yourself. 1. Use hardware wallets for long-term storage. Coins stored in offline devices like Ledger or Trezor are not affected by exchange hacks. 2. Diversify your platforms. Don't keep all your assets in one place. Split across exchanges, cold wallets, and DeFi if you understand it. 3. Stay updated on-chain. Follow addresses and monitor platforms using tools like Etherscan and Debank. Sometimes, you'll see signs of trouble before companies admit it. 4. Avoid platforms that hide breaches. Transparency is key. If a company goes silent during a crisis, that's a red flag. CoinDCX's hack isn't just a warning. It's a case study in what not to do. The company had the chance to come clean, protect its users, and lead with integrity. Instead, it chose silence. In Part 6, we'll look at the bigger picture, what this hack means for the future of Indian crypto regulation, and whether government agencies will finally step in to protect investors like you. In Part 5, we uncovered CoinDCX's weak response after the hack, silence, vague statements, and no compensation plans. Now in Part 6, let's zoom out and ask the final question. What does this mean for the future of crypto in India? And will regulators finally step in to protect users? Let's start with the obvious. India still doesn't have a clear regulatory framework for crypto exchanges. While crypto isn't officially banned, it isn't clearly regulated either. This legal gray zone has allowed companies to operate without strict oversight, which often leads to user vulnerability. After the CoinDCX hack, users expected immediate action from government bodies. But the Reserve Bank of India remained silent. There was no official investigation launched by the Ministry of Finance. No FIR filed. No arrests. It was as if nothing happened, despite millions in assets being stolen. Compare this to the US or Europe. When a major platform is hacked there, agencies like the SEC, FBI, or Europol are involved within days. Users receive updates. Investigations are public, and platforms face real legal consequences. India, on the other hand, continues to drag its feet. That's why experts are now pushing for the creation of a crypto regulatory authority, a dedicated body to monitor exchanges, investigate hacks, and protect users. Without it, platforms like CoinDCX will continue to get away with silence. But here's the deeper problem. Most Indian investors still trust central exchanges without understanding the risks. They treat crypto like a fixed deposit, safe, guaranteed, and low risk. And exchanges take advantage of that false sense of security. The CoinDCX hack should be a turning point. It should wake up not just the government, but the entire Indian crypto ecosystem. So what happens next? We may see short-term crackdowns, a few audits, maybe a tax inquiry. But unless there's long-term policy change, the cycle will repeat. Hack, silence, panic, nothing. That's where creators, developers, and everyday users need to step up. Educate your peers. Demand transparency from platforms. And most importantly, secure your own assets. Use cold wallets. Don't chase hype tokens. Research before you trust. Crypto is powerful, but without accountability, it's just digital chaos. So, is this the end of CoinDCX? Maybe not, but it's definitely the end of blind trust in Indian exchanges. And if we don't learn from this, the next hack won't just hurt wallets. It will destroy faith in an entire financial revolution. This was the CoinDCX hack explained in full. Subscribe to InfoNest TV for more deep dives into finance, tech, and the future of the digital world.